It was around the time that Pikmin 4 released where I knew I wanted to make a Pikmin video. Now, I always thought this video would just be about Pikmin 4, you know, the things it does right, the things it doesn't. But then I realized that the capacity in which I wanted to talk about Pikmin wasn't surrounding its mainline games, but it was about how the property itself is handled. Pikmin 1, Pikmin 2, Pikmin 3, and Pikmin 4. Do you see the main similarity that all 4 of these games have? It's that other than being called Pikmin, for the majority of this IP's history, the games have been about 10 years apart. Pikmin 2 in 2004, 9 years later, Pikmin 3 in 2013, and then 10 years later, Pikmin 4 in 2023. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, good games take time. But I have come firsthand to experience what it's like to be a Pikmin fan in between of these releases. While Nintendo's other IPs like Mario and Zelda kind of get a steady stream of releases, whereas if it's not a mainline game that's releasing, you can always count on a spin-off, and the support we see brought to games like Splatoon and Animal Crossing is something that keeps these IPs front and center. Whereas it has been a while since the last Mario game, but it has not been a while since our last Mario game. And it works. I mean, of course it works. It's Mario. Mario kind of does everything. That's his shtick. He taught me how to type, goddammit. And maybe Animal Crossing isn't the best example for this, because while it did have online support, they definitely pulled the plug on that too quick. A topic for another day, but the manner in which they do it with Splatoon works. Updates that happen regularly and keep the game fresh. And while the idea of Pikmin DLC in the form of new planets to explore, maybe even new Pikmin, sounds like a good idea, I personally don't want to get used to being sold a game and then sold the game 5 more times. While DLC and free updates may be cool and may really satisfy that urge to just play more Pikmin, I don't think it's the direction we want to go. I definitely think that kind of model works hand in hand with games like Splatoon and Animal Crossing, though at the moment, this model is in its infancy, and I'm sure Nintendo will get better at it. It's just, right now, when they do support a game in this fashion, a lot of the times it ends up feeling lackluster. So let's ignore the fact they pumped out Pikmin 2 only 3 years after the release of Pikmin 1, and 2 is known as the IP's magnum opus. In my opinion, it's currently Pikmin 4, that's the go-to, but they had made a great game in just 3 years. Although, that was the early 2000s. So, things have changed. And if they want to say that a quality Pikmin title such as Pikmin 4 takes 10 years to make, I gotta say, they can take those 10 years. It is beyond worth the wait. Though, as a Pikmin fan, what do we do in those 10 years? And here's where I'd like to take a page from the way in which Nintendo manages their IPs like Mario and Zelda. You get the big game every few years. I mean, it's already been about 8 years since Mario Odyssey. 8 years since like a big 3D Mario game. I remember when I was younger, they were kind of just pumping these things out one after another. But when you hear the fact that it's been about 8 years since Mario Odyssey's release, it feels a little surreal. It doesn't feel like 8 years because Mario hasn't been out of the public eye for 8 years. I mean, we're probably getting more Mario games than ever. Though, in the form of the RPGs, the remakes, the sports games, we even saw 2D Mario make a triumphant return. And now, what does this have to do with Pikmin? I'm not saying make a Pikmin sports game. I'm not saying make a Pikmin RPG, although, you know, Pikmin RPG does sound pretty good. I'm saying that in between these 10 long years, we need a little more Pikmin content. I mean, I've always loved Pikmin, but in its absence between Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4, I had kind of forgotten how much I really do enjoy this franchise. When 4 had launched, it gave a breath of fresh air into what it meant to be a Pikmin fan. I mean, for the first time in my life, I was seeing memes among pretty much every social media app I opened. I couldn't go a day without seeing a Pikmin meme of some kind, which was new to experience as a Pikmin fan. And due to the love I have for this franchise, it's such a nice experience to have, to see other people also enjoy things you do. So initially, it felt a little odd when Pikmin 4 launched to see that many people talk about Pikmin. And a lot of what I saw were people who had never played a game, and maybe never will, just enjoy this design of a Pikmin. I mean, look at it. How can you not talk about this? It's fun. He's a little guy. Yes, there's the audience of people like me and maybe even you who will always be there day one to play the newest Pikmin release. But it was honestly something pretty silly that had opened up my eyes and showed me that Pikmin could be more beyond its games. It was the Kung Fu Tea x Pikmin collab. And this collab was very simple. I think it was just some straw lids, some cool cups. I have all three, by the way. But Jesus Christ, the hysteria it caused was crazy, especially for such a niche franchise like Pikmin. I mean, the cups were selling out. People were clamoring for this. And from what I saw both online and in person, a lot of these people were relatively new to the Pikmin IP. A lot of them never even touched a Pikmin game, but the allure of Pikmin alone drew them in. And like I said, how could you know? He's just a little guy. So upon witnessing this, it had become evidently clear to me that this IP was tremendously underutilized. Now, Pikmin 4 had sold really well for a Pikmin game, but I don't think the amount of people I saw talking about this IP online equated to the sales at all. There were more people talking about Pikmin than there were buying Pikmin. And that, I gotta say, I understand. I mean, trying to tell someone the gameplay of Pikmin is a little rough, and showing someone this might not really be a seller. Let's be honest. The seller? This thing right here. This thing is all we need. So what I'm looking to do isn't to increase the rate in which we release these mainline games. Rather, keep Pikmin in the public eye between these releases. And I've already brought up the main two ways to do this: brand collabs and spin-off games. Now, as far as brand collabs go, I don't think we need anything too intense. I'm not asking for a level of Mario x Levi's clothing collab. Rather, what Kung Fu Tea did with Pikmin is perfect. I mean, just slap the little guys on a cup, put them on a fry container, maybe give them a Happy Meal every once in a while. I mean, the way that Mario and Animal Crossing collaborated with Lego, I think would kind of work with Pikmin. Another thing that kind of works really well with Pikmin are these shorts on YouTube. I mean, these things have garnered millions upon millions of views. And it's kind of just as simple as they're fun. It goes back to this guy just being a little guy. They're fun to watch. They have hijinks. These animated shorts have always felt like they could have been something more. Now, I don't know if we're totally ready for a full-on Nintendo Pictures Pikmin movie, but come on, these things are fun. Maybe just regularly produce these shorts and put them on YouTube. Even the little comic strips that coincided with Pikmin's 4 release were incredibly fun. And just because the game is out now, I don't think means that these should stop. Give us more shorts. Give us more comics. Maybe not at the consistent rate that they were coming out at, but one a month, one every other month, I don't think that's asking too much. Though I am aware of the fact that the things like the shorts and the comics in potential Lego sets and Boba Cup collabs all come with the fact that there's a game already out. There's something that needs to be promoted, which leads me to the other half of what it would mean to grow Pikmin as an IP. It's the games. We need more. Like I said, if they need 10 years between these mainline Pikmin games, by all means, take those 10 years. But in between, we need something as fans, and just like I said, to keep Pikmin in the public eye. Spin-off games would be a great way to capitalize on the allure that Pikmin bring. And it's an avenue that hasn't been explored. And no, Hey Pikmin does not count. If anything, Hey Pikmin is everything a spin-off in this IP shouldn't be. Bland and uninspired, not fun, devoid of life. And it was just slopped onto the 3DS, which was pretty much already dead. I think on a modern system like the Switch, a Pikmin spin-off would excel, especially if it's made with heart, with passion, if it's full of life and colorful, if it's fun. And there's so many ways that a Pikmin spin-off game could be done. The go-to method, in my opinion though, and it's gonna sound a little crazy, but I think a Pikmin Metroidvania would kind of work seamlessly. Just imagine, no captains, you play as the Pikmin, and it kind of would feel like Hollow Knight in a way, where you're traveling through these labyrinths like an anthill, you know? You're a leader Pikmin, maybe you have a platoon, and you're traversing this sort of anthill kind of vibe, which kind of makes way for all sorts of puzzles. I think a Metroidvania would suit Pikmin very well. But for a more casual crowd, what do? Well, there is a casual crowd Pikmin game out, in the form of Pikmin Bloom. Look, the idea, again, I think it's a good one. I just don't think it was executed properly, and I don't think it's being supported properly. I mean, 4's been out for a good while now, and there's still no sign of these newer Pikmin species in Pikmin Bloom. There's no Ice Pikmin and there's no Booger Pikmin at all. On top of the fact that the way in which this game plays is extraordinarily bland. It's like Pokemon Go without the Pokemon. It's just Go. And the idea of planting flowers among wherever you go, it's cute. I just don't think there's enough substance aside from the very bare minimum support they give in the form of Pikmin costumes to warrant playing this game. Although this isn't something that can't be fixed with an update or two, you know? I think I would be more inclined to play Pikmin Bloom beyond just one time and then uninstalling if it maybe took some ideas from Pokemon Go. If it had raid battles where your colony of Pikmin control the main area. If it had boss raids where these giant monsters pop up on the map and you have to use your forces or maybe collaborate with other people to take them down. And the use of Pikmin in costumes is a great workaround to deal with just kind of how little variety of Pikmin there are. I would kind of like to see different hues of Pikmin, right? I mean, you don't need to make a new Pikmin, but who's to say you can't have a light blue Pikmin or a navy blue Pikmin, right? Like, there can be multiple colors of the same variety. And it would be a way to kind of make collecting these Pikmin fun. I mean, yeah, you have your purple Pikmin, and you also have your lavender Pikmin. You got your yellow Pikmin, and you got your mustard Pikmin. I think it's a great idea. It would work how shinies do in Pokemon, where they're the same type of Pikmin, it just kind of looks a little different. It's giving you a reason to want to play this game so that you can collect them. So with ideas like these, I don't really think there's much of a reason why we should have to wait 10 years for any sort of Pikmin content. Now, whether or not this becomes a reality where we see a Pikmin spin-off game coincided by, Pikmin collabs and potential shorts and comic strips coming out regularly is up in the air. Would I bet on it? Not really, though I am hopeful. Because I do think it is irrefutable the level of interaction that this community saw after the release of Pikmin 4. I just hope the big guys in the big chairs at Nintendo are aware of just how successful this IP can be outside of its mainline games. And if not, then the 10-year wait until Pikmin 5 is something I'm going to embrace. Because I know when it does come, it'll be a great